Hello my crafty friends, it's Beverly here over at Crafting Chaos with another interactive card for you. The mechanism for this is quite simple to construct, and so it's quite a short video. Now you can put anything you want on the front. I've put the little dog that is one of my files that I've made that I will also link to the cute dog on my post, if you will. But you can see the video on how to make the dog. It's on my YouTube channel, and the file, but it's much bigger, is on my blog, and obviously you can just resize it so that it's the right size for the card. Now the card's in two parts, if you will. So the first part is this rectangle here, the mechanism, and that's just got sort of a rectangle cut out with a circle, half a circle cut out at the top so you can see the pull section underneath. These are full cutting lines, and then these dotted ones across here are the score lines that you can see here and here. Now this piece at the bottom attaches to this score line from behind, and this one sort of bends, goes down into a valley, and this comes up into a mountain. So you're going to go valley fold, mountain fold here. So that one comes up and that one goes back, and the back of this one attaches to the back side of that one. Okay, so it's quite easy to put together, and it's really easy to make the file. So all you need to do is create this part, do this partial cut here, and then put the score lines in, and basically this is just a rectangle. And all I did is used my fonts and got it to write pull on this second mechanism, so it was writing rather than, or drawing rather than cutting. So all I did then, once I'd finished the mechanism, which obviously then could be resized to fit a 5x7 card if you wish, I just left it as is, cut it out just to do a sort of trial, if you will, a prototype one, and decided I'd use my little dog. And the idea is that when you pull the tab, it pulls it up into like a tent fold and reveals something, that either a message or something that you've hidden in here. Now you could include a gift card in here. I've got a coffee barista card from our local cappuccino and barista shop, really, where you can buy nice coffees. So you could put that like a gift card. It could be a clothing card, so you could put like a mannequin and some new clothes on or something like that. It's just a bit more of an interesting way if you're wanting to give a voucher or a gift card rather than buying in a gift because you don't know what to buy. You can also write a message on this pull tab here, your own message, a personal message. I suggest you do that before you actually put it together, and allow yourself a little bit of room below that. So you've got about a good 1.5 inches below the pull where you could actually write your message, but you don't want it to show till it actually gets pulled up. So you can pull it right up to there, and then it just slides back down and makes a card like so. Now all you've got to be careful of when you're assembling is when you put on your foam tape, which makes it stand a little bit proud of the card. So you can see down there it's got foam tape attached. You only put your foam along these three edges because you don't want anything, and you don't want it to touch this part either, so it's not going to interfere with your mechanism. So it's really easy to make, and I think it's quite effective, and I could see it being used for lots of different occasions. I think it's really cute. I liked it with the dog on because I'm a dog lover. I've also got a similar file that's a cat that you could make and just make smaller, or like Indeed, you could put anything that you wished on there. Now all I did to make the background was, before I actually assembled it all, I got a bigger piece than this, I'm just going to use this to illustrate, is before this piece was actually fastened down, where it's cut here, I slid a piece of paper underneath so that I didn't get ink onto the frame part, and I used a stencil, this cloud stencil that I showed you how to make on my previous interactive video for the interactive wheel card. So I used my stencil and used my oxide inks to stencil in the sky. Then I got to the bottom and I used the same one, but where the larger scallop bits was, just to add a little bit of greenery so it looks like a little bit of hills in the distance. The grass I cut out from a file that I'd made, and basically then just sat my dog on the front. Now, the only thing you need to be aware of when you're actually sticking your image is that you make sure that you've got nothing stuck to your card beyond this fold line here. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to bend. So you can stick it anywhere from below that point. So say from just below the dog's nose, you're okay to stick on from the size of my card. And I know it's not going to interfere with that fold mechanism that's actually there. So it slides up nicely to reveal either your own secret message, or you could add a gift card for someone that you're giving them for a gift, rather than just giving them a gift in an envelope. Just makes it a little bit more stylish. So this is the mechanism. I show you how to make both pieces in the video, and I've just taught you through how to assemble the card. So I hope you enjoy it. I will link into the video where you can actually download the file, and also the video on my YouTube how to make the dog. And if I can think on, I'll also add the cat for cat lovers. All right, so, or you could another nice one that might be is one of my Father Christmas or my Mother Christmas, for a Christmas card, if you will, with a voucher inside for the person to buy something with from the Christmas present, especially if it's not something that you choose to be able to buy them because you don't know what they've got and what they haven't already got. You might decide to get them an Amazon voucher. Nice Christmas scene on Father Christmas on their pull, and it's a little bit more interesting than just giving them a gift card in an envelope. So I hope you've enjoyed that one. So this is the Magic Slider Reveal card here with another interactive card for you, and it's a slider surprise. As you've seen in the preview video, how you can make the card up. I'll also post a link to where you can actually learn how to make the cute dog that I've got on the front of mine, and also it's available on my blog free of charge for download if you wish to do that. And all I did is just resize it, all the pieces, so that they would fit on this size card. So this is what we're aiming for the net mechanism. So I'm just going to move it. Oops, excuse me, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to move it all as well. I'm just going to group it temporarily. Select everything and layer and group. So now we should be able to move that as one piece. So what we're going to start off with is a rectangle, and we're going to bring on a square, and we're going to make it 4.5 inches wide, and we're going to make it 5.5 inches high, like so. So we're on the edit menu to do the resizing. I'm then going to bring on a circle, so I can punch out my top part, and I'm going to bring it on. Just click on that to cool it down, and we're going to resize the circle to 1.25 inches. So I'm going to maintain the aspect ratio and click 1.25 and say OK. So that's created a circle for us. I'm going to overlap it with my shape. Then I'm going to select the rectangle on the shape and line it at the centre. Then I need to go and process the overlap and subtract, and that's effectively punched out a thumb piece, so we can collect this piece from behind when it's attached to our project. So the next thing we're going to do is make this piece, and for this piece you're going to need the slightly rounded square, and I'm going to close that now. I'm going to resize it to about 4.5 high, sorry. So I need to take off the aspect ratio, make it 4.5, and then I'm going to make it width of 3.25. So 3.25, like so. So now that's going to fit inside there as part of the mechanism. And all I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this shape here and take a duplicate of it, or I could have just brought on a rectangle, and I'm just going to remove a small part of this by hitting subtract, so overlapping it and subtract, so we've got a nice straight edge at the bottom. So all I'm going to do now is invert it, so I'm going to flip it. Then I'm going to make sure that the dimensions are what I want them to be. So I want it to be 3 1/4 wide, which is fine, and I need it to be a 4.25 high. So I'm just going to change that to 4.25 and say OK, and that's where we're at. So we can either, sorry, I need to flip that again now, so flip it. So now what we've got is a nice rectangular piece that's going to fit inside, and I've got a feeling that might be, sorry, 4.25, and it needs to be 4.5 high, so we'll change that to 4.5. Thought it looked a little bit short, so 5.5, and then that will be the piece that fits in here like so. Okay, so next we're going to work on this inner mechanism piece. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this one, and we're going to flip it, because what we're wanting to do, sorry, no, I didn't need to, I want to flip it back, sorry, I need it that way up. So that way up, so that we now, no, I was right, we do need it the other way. So we'll leave that one to the side because that's the other one. And we're going to use the bottom part of this for our score line, if you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click to reveal the nodes, and I'm going to select, and I'm going to open the path, and then I'm going to select this one, sorry, this one. So we get just the nodes that I want. I'm going to zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. Just zooming in, then go on the selection tool, double click to expose the nodes, and I'm trying to select this one, that one, and I'm going to minus that node, and then we're going to click this one, double click, select that one, and we're going to minus that one. So that's given us the cutting line for inside of our shape. So I'm going to go to window and zoom, fit all objects to matte. Okay, so that's going to form that piece there. So what I'm going to do next is select both of those and line them up centre and middle. So that's the piece that's going to cut. So what we need to do now is create a line that's around 1/2 inch from here. So where it is now, so I'm going to select both, and I'm going to make sure the layer and group them so that I can move them together, because we want those two to cut through. But the next ones, we need to be a dashed line, and we need them to fit from one side to the other. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to put the snap to grid on, and I'm going to lower the grid spacing down to 0.25. So what I'm going to do now is select this. Oh, I did undo, I didn't mean to move that. So I'm going to select and move the shape so it's lined up with one of these bottom grid lines. So if I zoom in, so I need it to be 1/2 inch, and if I just up that to 1/2 inch, we can see that if I make a score line from here and I drag it out to here like so, and then I make it a perforating line, we've got a score line that's going to be 1/2 inch up from there. So now what we've got left is 1, 2, 3 1/2. So that's going to be 2 1/4 inches. So again, we're going to change the grid lines to 0.25. I'm going to select everything, and we're going to group so we can move it independently. So we need a scoring line that's halfway from this line to this middle at the top of this one. So we've worked that out to be that it's actually around about, so if we count them, 1/2 inch, 1. I'm going to just put it back on the 1 inch just so it's easier to count and show you what I mean. So you can see from that point to this point, it's 1, 2, 3 1/2 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to score it from, so half of 3 1/2 is 1.5, 1.75. So we're going to draw, we're going to edit, we're going to layer and, sorry, I need to select it first. I'm going to select everything, and we're going to layer. We need to ungroup. So we're going to ungroup that, and we're going to select the line. So we're going to go in shape, select that line, and we're going to make a duplicate. Then we're going to hide that line that we've just created, so this one, by clicking the eye. I'm going to select everything else, and I'm going to group again. So now I've got my perforating line that's hidden, so I'm going to make it visible again. I'm going to select them everything, and I'm going to line them up to the centre, so at the centre there, like so. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on the snap to grid to 0.25 spacings, and we're going to click firstly on that one, on the big shape, and we're going to move it so that it's lined up with that one. Then we're going to click on the layers, and we want the score line that we need to place, so that's in the middle. So we now need to just go up once we get it to the line, so that's the half, so 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.75. I reckon that's, I've gone too far there. So that's going to be our 1.75 inch line mark. So that's exactly halfway between this score line and where the cutting edge at this top end ends. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to temporarily ungroup, and then I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to layer and group everything together. So that file is now, oops, and it's not managed to do that. I'm just going to repeat that step. So first of all, I'm going to ungroup and ungroup, so everything's movable now, like so. And if I just edit, undo that, we'll get it back to normal. I'm going to select all of those layers by dragging a box around them, and then I'm going to layer and group. So now that's grouped that file together, so it will cut where the salt lines are solid, and it will perforate where they're dotted to give us that perforating line. So now I'm going to zoom out fit to matte. So that's this piece, if you will, that we've just created, and this is the piece that slides in between. Okay, so that's it for the Magic Surprise card. I will be saving this and leaving a free copy over on my blog for you to download if you wish to do so. I hope you've liked the video, and I'd love to see what you make. So please remember to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.